This rare footage made the army speechless. What did Jungkook whisper to Jimin? The tape just appeared, like a gift that no one expected. In the midst of a rush of uploads about Jimin and Jungkook's activities in America, a short video suddenly went viral on various social media platforms. Not from an agency, not from an official broadcast, but rather amateur footage taken by an army man who happened to be on location at the time. In the video, Jimin and Jungkook appear to be standing close together on a street corner that is not too crowded. The noise of the vehicle sounded faint, and the two seemed to dissolve into a conversation that belonged only to the two of them. What makes the footage so jarring is not just their sudden appearance, but because there is one moment that is captured very clearly. When Jungkook whispered something into Jimin's ear. Army who watched the video from different parts of the world immediately fell silent. Those moments are like freezing time. No one knows for sure what Jungkook is whispering, but Jimin's expression afterwards made it all feel so deep and important. His face was stunned, then he smiled a little, a smile that looked meaningful and emotional. Since the video went viral, Army around the world began trying to read Jungkook's lip movements, play back the recording many times, trying to listen for sounds that might be caught faint. But all that effort ended in uncertainty. No one can confirm the content of the whisper. Some fans suspected it was a secret message, maybe about something that only the two of them understood, maybe about a project they were working on, or it could be about something more personal, something too precious to say out loud. There are various theories surrounding the incident. Some believe that Jungkook may have expressed his longing for Jimin, given their long time apart by each other's busy lives. There are also those who speculate that the whisper is part of the surprise they are preparing for the army, something that is not yet time to officially announce. But there are also those who believe that maybe Jungkook just wants to whisper simple words like, "I'm glad we're here," or "Thank you for coming," something that looks small, but actually has a big meaning for them. What made the moment even more resonant was Jimin's response afterwards. He does not respond with words, he does not respond with voice. He just looked at Jungkook with a soft look that was hard to explain, as if in silence they had understood each other without needing much explanation. There was a calmness emanating from the way Jimin held Jungkook's shoulder at that moment, a small touch that felt like the most perfect answer to an inaudible whisper. The video became a topic of discussion on various army forums. Many wrote how they cried while watching it, not because they knew what Jungkook was saying, but because they feel such sincere warmth and intimacy from such interaction. The moment reminded everyone that being together is more than just a work schedule, not just about concerts and promotions, but about a truly real friendship, which has passed the test of time. A few days after the video went viral, Jungkook had a short live on Weverse. Many army asked about the footage, but Jungkook just smiled mysteriously and said, "Some things don't need to be explained." He didn't give any clarification, as if he wanted to keep the moment a secret between himself and Jimin. That sentence actually made the army more moved because they understand. Perhaps this is the true essence of the relationship they have built with BTS over the years. There is a space that belongs only to them, and army appreciates that. Jimin later wrote in Weverse, "Sometimes the most beautiful thing is when we know without having to hear." The sentence was simple, but for army, it was an acknowledgement that the moment of the whisper was not just a video snapshot, but rather a part of their story that not everyone should know the details. It is a beauty born of trust, of a closeness that does not need to be always explained to the world. Fans began to write that perhaps what Jungkook was whispering didn't need to be revealed. Perhaps it is precisely ignorance that makes the moment feel magical, letting imagination and feelings fill the void. What matters is not what is said, but how those words make Jimin smile, make the army world fall silent, and make everyone feel the depth of the bond they have. Some fans also associate this moment with BTS songs that often talk about friendship, trust, and unconditional love. Songs like Spring Day and Microcosm again became soundtracks for those who watched the video because the songs seemed to be the perfect introduction to describe the beauty of something that is not seen, not heard, but so real, in the end. That moment of whispering became part of ARMY's collective memory, An unfinished story, a beautiful secret to keep together. As it may be in the long journey of BTS, not all things need to be solved, not all sentences need to be heard. There is enough to be felt, enough to be understood through a look, through a smile, through a small touch on the shoulder that says more than 1,000 words, and that's where their strength is. Jimin and Jungkook don't always need to talk much to leave the world speechless. Sometimes, one inaudible whisper becomes the biggest story that will live on in the hearts of the ARMY, forever, after the days have passed since the recording went viral. One thing that remains is how the moment continues to be a warm conversation that never loses its charm. ARMYs from different parts of the world began to refer to that moment as the whisper moment, a term that later became a symbol of the unspoken intimacy between Jungkook and Jimin. Although the contents of the whisper were never revealed, it was precisely the mystery that made the moment so powerful, as if it were a little secret shared by them and the ARMY. Some fans started making illustrations and artwork depicting Jungkook and Jimin in that second whisper, against the backdrop of dim city lights and quiet streets, as if to perpetuate the meaningful silence. Jungkook never went into specifics again. He wrote a few short words like, "There are things that are more beautiful if they remain a secret," or "A few moments are enough for both of us to keep." Jimin calmly wrote, "We don't need to repeat it because I've remembered it forever." The words seemed to reinforce that the whisper, whatever its meaning, was already part of their perfect story precisely because it was not spoken to the world, and perhaps that's what made ARMY choose to let the moment remain as it is. They stopped guessing, stopped looking for leaks. They accept that there are stories that are indeed more beautiful if only felt, not expressed. Because sometimes the most important thing is not the content of the words, but who whispers and to whom he whispers. In a very short moment, Jungkook and Jimin have created memories that will continue to live on in BTS' long history. A whisper that we may never hear, but we all know those are the words that will always sound clear in their hearts and in the hearts of millions of ARMY believers. Not all secrets have to be told, because the most sincere love is often present in silence. In the end, the whisper moment between Jungkook and Jimin becomes clear proof that not all beauty in life has to be explained. Not every moment should be shared with the world. Sometimes it is precisely what is kept in silence, which is not heard by anyone, that becomes the most enduring and most meaningful story. ARMY also chose to honor the moment instead of forcing an answer, but by celebrating the warmth and depth of the bond so sincere between the two of them. BTS's long journey full of highlights, full of bustle, and full of demands. Small moments like this become such a precious oasis. A simple whisper in the middle of the streets of a foreign city, which, without realizing it, has connected thousands of hearts scattered around the world. Jungkook and Jimin, without loud words, have shown that a true relationship does not always need to be announced. Enough with the looks that understand each other, enough with the smiles that reinforce each other, enough with the whispers that only the two of them know, and perhaps that's the real power of this story. The ARMY didn't need to hear the whisper to know how deep it meant. Because in each second, in each of their steps, Jungkook and Jimin have carved out a story that will continue to live on, not on the news pages, not in an open forum, but in the safest place, in the hearts of all those who believe in warmth, loyalty, and friendship that never fades. And as long as they continue to walk side by side, as long as the world still leaves room for little stories like this, ARMY will always be there, hearing inaudible whispers and keep this story alive forever.